What's up, everybody? Welcome to Under the Arc Sports. I'm Eric.
And I'm David.
And today it's time to take a look at Mizzou basketball heading into the SEC schedule. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and Instagram. Now, David, I don't think anybody had Mizzou wrapping up their non-conference schedule aside from the TCU game, going number 12 in the country and a dark horse to win the conference.
Yeah, the schedule wasn't the easiest either. You have Oral Roberts, Oregon, Wichita State, Liberty University, Illinois, Prairie View A&M, which was canceled, and then Bradley. Other than Prairie View A&M, they were all tournament teams last year.
Yeah, and with this schedule, Mizzou is kind of carrying the banner for the SEC. The Illinois and Oregon wins are the two best wins anybody in the SEC has. And that's vaulted them to number 12 in the country. Looking around the SEC, Tennessee is going to be favored to win the league. They are number 7 in the AP poll, number 6 in the coaches poll. As we said, Mizzou's number 12 in both polls. And that's it. Nobody else from the SEC is in the top 25. Arkansas is close. They're about the fourth team or so outside in that receiving votes category. And then Florida and Georgia. Georgia is getting votes only in the AP poll. Florida's getting votes in both.
Props to Georgia, by the way. They're undefeated right now.
Yeah. Kentucky is not undefeated. Just looking around the SEC, they are 1-6. Some of their losses have been close to good teams. They lost to Kansas by 3. I think they lost to Carolina by 3. They did get destroyed by Georgia Tech. And there's all sorts of issues. Former Mizzou recruit Cameron Fletcher crying on the bench, and then Calipari publicly saying that he's taking time off to deal with his mental health or whatever. I would have preferred, as a Kentucky fan, I would have looked to have that kept in-house, but, whatever. But the SEC is not that imposing, just looking around the league.
Yeah, just to give a little tidbit, Liberty beat South Carolina and Mississippi State, and Mizzou ended up beating them by 9. So that gives you a little idea of what we're looking at conference-wise. Now, Bradley, the game Mizzou just played on December 22nd, barely squeaked out a victory. Shooting 25% from the field and 13% from 3. Just a defensive train wreck, if you will.
Bradley has the best 2-point defense in America. So it makes sense that Mizzou would have a game like that. But they are scoring 75 points a game, which is that's so much better than years past under Conzo Martin.
Yeah, and one of the key points is Xavier Pinson this year. Conzo Martin's allowing him to play his game, which is a speedy up and down game, allowing him to get fast breaks. Now, he might make a mistake here or there, but because of the style, we're getting a lot of fast break points from the Mizzou offense. Also, on top of that, at this point in time, Xavier Pinson's leading all scoring for Mizzou at 14.3 points per game.
Yeah, He's got 3.7 assists to go with it. I'd like to see that closer to 5, but you know what? It's working so far. And another important point is he's getting help. And part of the reason that he's getting help is the fact that he's so effective driving the lane and then dishing to somebody as the defender comes in, sags down to help on Pinson's drive. He dishes and, oh, look, there's Mark Smith for 3. Mark Smith's averaging 13.8. Drew Smith is averaging 13.2 of his own. So, that's pretty well-rounded for the Missouri Guards.
Another point to make this year is Jeremiah Tillman has been staying in the games. I think he only had one game, which was the Illinois game, where the refs were like super whistle happy, where he fouled out. But other than
Yeah,
that,
north of 50 fouls. It was awful.
yeah, 59 to be exact in that game. But other than that game, he's been playing most of the games. He's averaging 8.2 points and then 7.8 boards a game, which has been a big help for this Tiger basketball team, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah. That said, they're doing all this despite the fact that they are shooting 28% from three. That is good for 287th in America.
Which shockingly is better than last year.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Pathetically enough, it's better than it was. Going back to Pinson and driving the lane, they are – it works because Pinson draws fouls. Either if he just goes to the lane, he can draw a foul, or he's able to dish it to Tillman or one of the guards, and the defense being out of position has no choice but to either give up a bucket or foul. And Mizzou's taking advantage of this. They are shooting 75% as a team from the free throw line.
Well, and credit not just to Pinson, but Mark and Drew are doing the same exact thing. They're not able to hit threes, so they're all driving the lane now. Yes,
that was something Mark Smith never used to do. He was basically float around the three-point line and hope he got open. Now his offensive game is more well-rounded, and it's really helping the Mizzou offense. But, Dave, let's take a look at, what do you think is going to happen in conference schedule, in conference play for Mizzou and the TCU game in the SEC Big 12 Challenge?
So just for reference, the TCU game is January 30th. Mizzou starts out with Tennessee December 30th at home. Very next game is Arkansas. Those are two tough games right off the bat. The Arkansas game is on the road.
I think it's important to note here, Missouri can still have a really good record in the SEC, 13-5, 14-4 even, and start the conference season 0-2. That's a very real scenario. If it happens, you can count on everybody on all the Facebook groups and all the message boards blowing up about how they've collapsed and how this isn't a tournament team now that they're playing conference and all this, that, and the other. And then they reel off 6 straight wins or something after that. That's a very real possibility.
Yeah,
so,
based on the conference,
be ready. It is about as difficult of a start as you could possibly have in the SEC.
Yeah, once you get through those two games, so it lightens up until they have that return game against Tennessee near the end of the month. Then they play one out-of-conference game against TCU for the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Turn them right around, play Kentucky, which I think is a good thing that we're playing them early in February, not like when they finally get their legs under them.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them being one of the first 3-4 games of the conference schedule, but playing them in early February is better than playing them in early March, I think. And because they're so talented. Once they figure things out, which they're too talented not to, at least to some degree, they're going to be better than they are now.
And it's worth noting that's a home game for Mizzou, and it's the only time they play Kentucky unless they see them in the tournament.
Yeah.
After that, they have the home game against Arkansas February 13th, and then they finish off the season at Florida March 3rd. In between there, you see a bunch of other teams going on. But it's interesting to note we only play Florida and Kentucky once, and we have Tennessee and Arkansas twice.
So Tennessee twice, Arkansas twice. This is what I was trying to get in here. A&M twice, South Carolina twice, Ole Miss twice. Let's see here.
Georgia once.
Yeah, so honestly, that's not a bad group of teams to be playing twice. Yeah, obviously 2 against Tennessee, that's tough. But other than that, it's not that bad.
And if you're looking at the way teams are playing right now before conference is starting, you're looking at seeing 2 of possibly the top 4 SEC teams maybe once.
Yeah. So, taking a look at this, I think I personally think Mizzou's going to split the first two. Florida is going to be a tough game down at the O Dome. I think they got us some goofy sponsor for it, but the O Dome. At Tennessee is going to be real tough. And Mizzou's shooting, I think there's going to be a game where I think Mizzou's going to just have like a 2 for 21 type of game from behind the arc, and I think it's going to cost them. I'm going to pick Mizzou to finish conference play 12-6, and that'll be good for like third in the conference. I think should be plenty to get a bye in the first round of the conference tournament.
Yeah, and I have Mizzou going. What did I say? 13-5.
Yeah.
I feel like with that they'll get to, including the TCU game in there, they'll get to 20 wins.
Yeah.
I really do think they can. Game. Yeah, I really think they'll get to 20 wins after beating TCU as well. I do think they'll beat TCU. As for SEC, I don't know where the 5 losses are coming from, but I know, like you said, our offense sometimes takes the night off, if you will, and I think it's going to cause a few slip-ups here and there.
Yeah, really the biggest difference between, you got 13-5, I got 12-6. I think the biggest difference is I think they're just going to have such a terrible night shooting. They're going to lose to somebody that they're better than. I just think it's going to happen.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think they're just going to lose to someone with good talent. So
yeah, oh yeah.
So anyway, that's our look at the conference season for Mizzou basketball. This is Under the Arc Sports. Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys. See ya.